Yes. So I'm documenting this, even though nobody watches this channel. That's okay. Hey, man, when you're talking about the truth, people don't want to hear it. So that's all right. I mean, I'm totally, I guess mostly comfortable with that. It is a little kind of concerning because it really makes you wonder how much your average person cares about the truth at all. Especially when you see all this in the so-called truth community. It's full of a bunch of shills. Like I just saw Richie from Boston in the last week has had a GoFundMe up to fund his basically camping trip. Just to fund like his vacation, to go driving around in his Jeep and, looking at all the different, traveling the country. That's it. That's all it's for. And he's raised like over $10,000. Well, the last I checked, it was like 9,000 and some odd dollars. So by now, I'm sure it's reached over $10,000. I mean, that people are stupid enough to give to this guy. But anyways, whatever. So, but that's your average truther, is Richie from Boston, who puts up a GoFundMe because he wants to travel the U.S. and go sightseeing, and dumb motherfuckers like give him $10,000. So that's the truther community. So would I be surprised that when I'm speaking truth that I'm ignored and attacked, mostly ignored and attacked? Not surprising at all. That's not surprising. And actually, that's a good thing. That means So I want to give an example. So I posted I'm on a video platform where they're talking about like the economy and shit, right? And so I've talked about this often in the past, that like the majority of all jobs in the U.S. are comprised of government jobs, corporate jobs, and nonprofit jobs. Where nonprofit is where all the socialist organizations like LGBTQ and shit come from, nonprofit. And so I was just saying how, dude, nearly all jobs in America are either corporate jobs, government jobs, or nonprofit jobs. And that should be a big eye opener to people. Especially if people are concerned about corporatism, destroying a capitalist society. If they're concerned about government destroying societies, and corporatism destroying capitalist societies, and socialism destroying societies. Well, look at what our job force consists of, the U.S. job force. It's all corporate jobs, government jobs, and nonprofit jobs, which is where all the socialist shit comes from. And that's like all jobs, dude. And so I was just kind of pointing this out, and I said, basically I just said that, 2/3 of all jobs in the U.S. are government or corporate jobs, and then the other third is nonprofit, which is where all the socialist organizations come from, is nonprofit. All this socialist shit is all nonprofit shit. That's what nonprofit is just socialism, right? And so then, somebody comments, well, that number can't be right. That can't be true, right? And so I'm like, well, it is. It's easy to look up. All you got to do is they're not trying to hide this information at all. You just go in and type into your favorite browser, what percentage of U.S. jobs are corporate jobs? What percentage of U.S. jobs are government jobs? What percentage of U.S. jobs are nonprofit jobs? And then you add it all up, And so the math gets a little bit complicated. It gets a little bit complicated because there's so much deceit. That's where the complication arises, is we live in an age of deceit where everything is lies. So whatever information we access is going to be biased. And if we're asking, like I use Brave, if I'm asking Brave, what is the percentage of corporate jobs in America? It's just going to like gather up, you know, the information that is available to the public. So the information that's available to the public says that a conservative estimate of corporate jobs is like 50% of all jobs in the US. That's a conservative estimate. That means that's a lowball figure. Okay. Then I asked Brave the same question about government jobs. And the conservative estimate of government jobs, percentage of government jobs in the US that are government jobs, is 15%. Then I asked Brave, well, what's the percentage of nonprofit jobs in the US? And the conservative estimate was like 10%. Okay. Now, we all know that the information that's available to us is biased anyway. So it's highly likely that it's worse than what we are being told. So this is just what we are being told. And if you add up the figures, 75% of all jobs are corporatist jobs, which is corporatism, which is what is destroying capitalism. Government jobs, which is destroying fucking society. We need less government, not more. And nonprofit, which is where all the socialist organizations come from. And so 75% is a conservative figure. It is, if you were to go the other side and do a liberal figure, it would be like 100%. Or so close to 100% that it doesn't matter. But not only that, even at 75%, it doesn't matter anymore. Like 75%, that means we're fucked. That means that the US is a bunch of slaves that work to strengthen corporatism, government, and socialism. Even if it's 75%, like that's basically means we're fucked. If you take the figure of 75% and the trajectory of where we're headed, what it's going to be like 10 years from now, do you think that that 75% is going to decrease or increase based on the trajectory of where society is heading? The obvious answer is that it's going to increase. The figure of 75% is going to increase. But the other thing that's concerning is that 75% is not only is it a conservative figure based off of the Brave browser, it's also the figure that we are being told. And whenever we are being told something, it's always worse. I'll give you an example. When we are told what the poverty level is at, what percentage of the US population is at or below poverty level, they always lowball the figure. Oh, you know, I've seen this so many times, like on the news. Oh, you know, the poverty level in the US is at or around 7.6%. Dude, do you actually believe that that's true? Of course not. So since it's not true, do you actually believe they would raise that figure or lower it? Well, of course they would lower it because they don't want, you know, this is all common sense. It's frustrating to have to explain common sense because like I thought we're all adults here. Like, you know, it really makes you wonder about people and the society you live in and the people that populate it. Like, how many people are just like totally checked the fuck out? That are just plastic fucking people that are living credit card lives and are just completely checked out of all reality. It's probably worse than it even appears. Then I have to explain all this. So even if it's 75%, like, because that's what the person was saying. He's like, well, you know, you said it was close to 100% when really it's only 75. And I'm like, okay, dude, look, first of all, 75% is the number that they are giving us, that the establishment is telling us. Don't you think that it's probably worse than what the establishment is telling us? Well, obviously it is. So yeah, I'm saying that it's closer to 100% because if they're telling us 75%, that means it's way worse than that. That means that it's pretty much 100% that all jobs in the U.S. are either corporate jobs, government jobs, or nonprofit jobs, which strengthens corporatism, government, and socialism. So it's worse than what they're telling us, right? And they aren't even like 70. And this is what I told the guys, like, dude, 75% should be enough to fucking like body slam a motherfucker wide awake. Like we've got a problem. And it's not. Like nobody cares. And people are arguing, well, it's only 75%. Like, what are you? Okay, so then that means you're okay with this figure. You're like totally cool with this. Well, it's only 75%, therefore no problem. We still have time to fix this problem. Like, dude, it's just people just don't want it. They don't want the truth. They just want to live in la la land and believe whatever they want. No, it's 75%. That's not that bad. And not only that, let's say it's only 75%, which is fucking like worse than bad, dude. Like that means we're fucked. That means that it's already too late. We're already fucked. That means at least 75% of the U.S. population are slaves, dude. Literally fucking slaves. Like that'd be like finding out. That'd be like somebody saying, dude, the U.S. is just slaves. We're all slaves. And then somebody saying, well, no, that's not true because only 75% of the U.S. are slaves. like what is that? Do you not understand how ridiculous that is? That's like saying, oh, well, it's not true that all of the U.S. citizens are slaves. I just looked it up and it's only 75% of the U.S. are slaves. I was like, so it's not that big of a deal. Well, that is like basically we're fucked. If 75% of the U.S. are slaves, dude, like we're fucked. It may as well be 100% because let's say it's the lowball figure of 75%. Okay, 75% of all jobs are basically slave jobs where you work towards the further enslavement of yourself and your community, right? Let's say it's only 75%, right? Well, who do you think has the 25%? Who do you think gets the 25% of all those? Oh, it's just equal opportunity. Anybody that applies, of course, do you actually believe that 25% of jobs that aren't slave jobs is just equal opportunity that anybody can apply? We all have an equal opportunity to get one of those jobs. Like, you've got to be a complete retard to believe this. Because the reality is, that even if it is 75% and there's still 25% of jobs that aren't slave jobs, that are fair jobs, those are all going to be completely swallowed up and consumed before you can even say the word fucking consummate by the elite ruling class. They're going to swallow all that up. They're going to get all their kids to have those jobs. Like, nobody's going to have a chance in hell to get. There is no equal opportunity for that 25% of jobs that aren't slave labor jobs. There's no equal opportunity. So that 25% may as well not even exist. Therefore, that would put the number at 100%. 100% of all jobs are slave jobs that further enslave you and your community and your society. That's what you do 8 hours a day. You either have a corporate job or a government job or a nonprofit job. And it's just hilarious. One dude, he was trying to say I was full of shit. And so then I just copied and pasted information right from the Braves server onto my reply. And he hasn't replied back, and he's not gonna, because he tells me I'm full of shit. And I'm like, well, here's all my evidence to support my claim. Where's your evidence where's your evidence to rebut it? You have none, and you're not going to even respond to this comment now that I've shown you that what I'm saying is true. Like, where's your evidence to dispute what I'm saying? That's right. You don't have it because it doesn't exist. And so therefore, you're most likely just going to ignore this discussion any further. Or if you do reply, it's going to be with ad hominem insults, calling me names like I'm a Fed or some dumb shit, right? And of course, the dude hasn't responded at all. The other guy's response is, well, I just said that, that you claiming 100% of all jobs isn't, that number can't be right. And I'm like, okay, well, let's say it's only 75, then we're good. All's good. No need to worry about that. It's only 75% of the U.S. are slaves. It's not 100%. Like, dude, what the fuck? Are you crazy? Are you fucking crazy? And that guy hasn't responded either, and I doubt he will either, because nobody wants to talk about this shit. Everybody wants to talk about UFOs and the Ziononians and the reptilianoids and the fucking CERN and the interdimensional beings and the New Age ascensions and, all this gay faggot shit. Nobody wants to talk about reality. The reality is that according to the establishment, 75% of all jobs are corporate jobs, which strengthen corporatism, government jobs, which strengthen government, and nonprofit jobs, which strengthen LGBTQ and all the other socialist movements. 75%. And that is the reality. And you can act like this don't mean shit and watch the trajectory. 10, 20 years from now, you're going to be complaining about the same old thing. When I'm trying to point it out to you, you don't care about what I'm saying, but 5, 10 years down the road, you're still going to be complaining because you're a slave to the corporations, you're a slave to the government, and you're a slave to the LGBTQ pride events. Meanwhile, when I say this, you fucking complain about me, saying that what I say bears no meaning whatsoever, or that I'm a Fed poster, or like, dude, no wonder the fucking world is going to fucking diarrhea in a shit bucket, you dumb fucks.